Welcome to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. I'm your host, Dave West, codename Phantom Troublemaker.
I am your co-host, Noel Wood, codename Crapshoot.
And I'm your Cobra intern who discovered there wasn't a Comic-Con in San Francisco this weekend. Codename Legion Cub.
That is where I left my heart, though.
There were lots of girls with flowers in their hair, so that part was nice.
Follow Audible Interlude wherever you listen to your podcasts. The audio version of this episode will be available this Friday. Be sure you're subscribed. Leave us 5-star reviews anywhere you go. But most importantly, share the show. Wherever you are on social media, share an episode you like, share one of our posts about being live. The only way that we can keep going is if we keep growing, and we can't do that without your help. Follow us on Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast. While you're there, check the pinned stories. Go to our TeePublic store and get yourself some Audible Interlude merchandise. And there is a new secret surprise design dropping right after this show goes off the air. So be ready to order the most amazing Audible Interlude shirt you've ever seen, aside from the Cobra Intern shirt. I will never try and steal the thunder from the Cobra Intern shirt. It remains our hottest seller. It's the one that, for whatever reason, is the most noticeable when you're at a live event. And that's important because when you wear Audible Interlude merchandise to a live event, if we see you, you're going to get some swag. So there's a little enticement right there. So wait for the sale. Go to TeePublic and get yourself a shirt. You can also join the Audible Interlude Facebook group. There is a link in the chat if you're watching us live right now on the Needless Things YouTube channel, or you can send a message to Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram, include your email address, and we'll do what we can to get you signed up. But doesn't always work, but we try. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, sound off. So we have a new sound off. If I can get to it. First few slides are always you always have to jump around. So this is our new sound off image. Every time we're doing a live stream, this will go up the day of the show. So you can tell us what you want us to talk about on the show. We encourage you to repost this when you see it. And there are two things that I want to explain about sound off that I kept forgetting about. One, the cutoff time is 7 p.m. the day of the show, because I have to have time to get everything put into the notes and have responses and whatever else. And on your comment, you may have noticed over the last couple of months that you comment and we'll respond with an emoji. And that's just to keep the algorithm happy. Obviously, when you say, hey, I'd like to know what color pants you think Shipwreck should wear in the Danny McBride movie, when I put a heart on that, that's not my response. I don't think he should be wearing, heart boxers or red pants or whatever. But
like you say, I don't think he should be wearing pants.
No pants. No pants on Shipwreck. Just make everything easier for everybody. But no, it's those emojis are just to keep the algorithm happy that we're noticing and replying to the comments. Obviously, the full reply is right here on the live show. So just a couple of things I've been meaning to explain, and now they have been explained. And it probably wasn't necessary, but sometimes that's what we do here on the Needless Things YouTube channel, which, by the way, you can catch us live again on August the 10th. That is the date of the next live stream. Go ahead and put it on your calendar. And I don't know what we're going to be talking about because all the news is going to be dried up by then, but that's okay. We always find a way to have some fun. And speaking of having fun, last night, right here on the Needless Things YouTube channel, Kristian, myself, and the Needless Things head of research, Ryan Schweck, talked about all of our favorite non-G.I. Joe things from San Diego Comic-Con. So check that out. It's available here on the channel, or the audio version is available wherever you get your podcasts. That's Needless Things Podcast. It's a separate stream from Audible Interlude. Go check it out. It's much more varied pop culture type of stuff. I think that's it. Oh my gosh, that's it. That's it for the opening babble. Whatever the opposite of knowing is half the babble is, that's what we just did. I do have to announce this is a carryover from last night's Needless Things live stream, which we appreciate everybody showing up for that. We had a good time on that one. Tom Henry wanted to know about the hydro sled, and I teased last night that we had a major hydro sled announcement, but that everybody was going to have to stick around to the end of the show to find out what it was. Well, unfortunately, Tom Henry had to check out. Life calls sometimes, and maybe he ate some lettuce. I don't know. But he was not able to stick around until the end of the show. So we are carrying that hydro sled announcement over to tonight's show, and we will be making it at the end of the show. So stick around all the way through the show and get that special hydro sled announcement. And look, if you know Audible Interlude, I think you should have a pretty good idea of what you're in for with this, but stay tuned. More on that later. Another interesting thing. So I mentioned, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that Big Bad Toy Store, so many Big Bads and grinds and other things that we have to keep track of in the toy industry now.
Yeah.
The toy store, I had mentioned that, yes, they started a wait list, but what I really wanted was a wish list. And at some point, they implemented a wish list. That's a thing now. The only problem is I wanted the wish list so that I could share it with my family, so they didn't have to order from Amazon for the stuff that I want. And also, there's a ton of stuff on Big Bad that you can't get on Amazon. And you can create a wish list, but it is not, as of yet, shareable. So I'm not quite sure what the purpose of it is at this point, other than you just personally keeping track of things that you want. But
yeah, what's the difference between that and the want list, other than, I guess, the want list, if it pops up, they automatically charge you for it?
Right. The wait list is something that's out of stock that you can sign up to get a notification when it comes in stock and then buy it. A wish list is just, I want this thing, but I don't want to spend the money on it right now, or it's not, they're different scenarios, but it does seem like wish list would be more useful if everybody
print out the wish list, and then you put it in an envelope and you snail mail it to all of your most important family and friends.
Well, that's somebody. It might have been RecShip, because RecShip was RecShip about this, and he said take a screenshot of it. And if you've seen the wish list page, it's just like their product listing pages. So it would take, if you have 10 things on your wish list, it's going to be like 3 sheets of paper. It is not an item by item checklist. It's just product listings on a page. So hopefully that will get updated. I did reach out to them, and they said as of yet that functionality is not available, but to stay tuned. They're working on updating everything always. That kind of announcement. So before we get into San Diego Comic-Con, I want to mention the exclusives. Were there any exclusives that you guys jumped on? Because mine arrived today, and my review will be up tomorrow.
Prepare for
trouble. Oh, that's right. Noel got a big old pile of exclusives.
Well,
how many did you get again?
I got 2 of the Python Patrol Trouble Bubbles, and I got 2 of the regular ones. So,
okay, I was thinking you got 4 of each for some reason.
No, I a total of 4. But as I was mentioning to you guys earlier, I really just want the troopers, so I may just sell off like 3 of the 4 Trouble Bubbles.
Wow.
Just keep one of the Python ones, because I've got the regular Trouble Bubble, and I know they don't go well together because I've seen the pictures of it lined up with the original.
Yeah, but man, now that I've got this one, I want one of the gray ones also. because all the pictures online made these look a little too big and like chunky in a way that I wasn't sure I liked. But now that I've got it in hand, it's the perfect size. I really like the proportions of it. And that clear canopy is just
it's
beautiful.
really clear.
I really, really like this thing. So I'd put the gray one on the back burner, but now that's moved up my list. I really do want one of those. And the figure with this one is great too. I like that they just have done a new Python Patrol design for this figure.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very happy with this.
I will reserve judgment until I get these in my hand, because once I open one, I might be like, oh, I need to have both of these, because trouble bubbles are always better in pairs, as Team Rocket says, prepare for trouble, make it double.
But I don't see you once you've opened up the Python Patrol one. I bet you'll keep one of the gray ones as well.
Well, it's like
nice.
My classified vehicles and stuff. The only ones that I have displayed on double is the Trouble Bubbles, because I've got my Crimson Twins. I've got Tomax and Zaymot flying them. So I kind of feel like they're better in pairs.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. All right. Well, that's it. Any other, Joe? We know now that the Hasbro San Diego Comic-Con exclusives go up for sale on Hasbro Pulse on August 10th at 1 p.m. for Pulse Premium members. And then 24 hours later, they will be available to the general public, which is quite a significant change from the hour early that Premium, used to get. 24 hours is, that is items potentially selling out. Because they would sell out before with the hour head start. So
I'm going to be curious, because tomorrow I am going to be in a workshop all day, and I'll see if I can pull myself away when they go live to pick up the exclusives.
Well, they don't go live until August the 10th, so you don't really have to worry about tomorrow.
Not the stuff that's going online going up tomorrow, because I think Flash.
Oh, just the regular pre-order stuff.
Yeah.
That's all. Well, we'll be talking about it shortly.
Yeah.
So as of now, my plan is still maybe a Fatal Fluffy, but definitely not the Shipwreck set. Where are you guys on those? Still holding firm?
Same.
Yeah.
I'm going to try for a Fluffy. If I get it. I'm not going to be disappointed if I don't. And as I said on last night's episode, when I went to Hasbro Pulse yesterday, there's still so many of the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives from last year that are on their website. So if at Christmas time that Shipwreck and Cadet Dimming is still on still available, then I may make that one of my Christmas wish lists. But it's not anything that I'm like, oh, panic, I have to make sure I get it.
Yeah, I'd like the Cadet Dimming figure, but it's not worth paying for anything more than what a regular figure would cost for that set. So, there's still, the Cold Slither 4-packs you can't even sell at retail on the aftermarket right now. So, I don't know if they're gonna overcorrect on that and they'll go back to producing a lot fewer for this year's exclusives. But I'm not gonna be too sad if I don't get it all together, but I'm also willing to wait to see if I can get that set for a little bit cheaper later on, or just buy that figure loose.
Well, it drives me crazy that Void Rivals set is still sitting there available, has never had any kind of markdown or anything, because I want the figures. I just don't want the Jetfire that is not compatible with the figures. And I will say this. A case could be made that, well, in the comic, it's not like they rode in Jetfire, but whatever. It just doesn't make any sense after so many Transformers G.I. Joe crossovers that they put that set out. Can you imagine somebody who's maybe more casual and who has bought the Transformers G.I. Joe crossovers previously and are like, this is incredible. These are my favorite toys ever. These G.I. Joes go in these Transformers, but they don't know like they're not as, they don't pay as much attention as we do, and they see that Void Rival set and they're like, oh, this is really cool, awesome, and then they get it, and then that Jetfire, where do the figures go? What is this? Like, how mad would you be? You'd be furious. I'd be furious. I'm furious, and it didn't even happen to me. All right. Well, let's move on because we've got some news to cover. All of the Joe and Joe adjacent news from San Diego Comic-Con. First off, I want to give a big, huge thank you to, well, first, Action Figure Insider, who provides my favorite coverage of all of the events. Daniel Pickett has been doing it for a very long time. He is involved with some of the toys that we're going to be talking about tonight. But Action Figure Insider is just a absolutely fantastic resource on social media. He is typically the one that I'm following along live all weekend. And then, of course, Toy Arc and Toy News International, both are very gracious with their coverage and their images. That's where most of our images from tonight have come from. They're both, Action Figure Insider live, and then once the galleries are up, Toy Arc and Toy News International for those closer looks, where you're able to catch stuff like I pointed out on last night's live stream. If you look at the NECA Muppets display, it's very easy to completely miss the fact that there's a Rizzo the Rat figure holding up one of the signs in the back, because all you can see is the lower half of his body behind this sign that's just talking about how everything in the display is prototypes. It's a nice little Easter egg that you'll never see if you're just looking on your phone. So anyway, thank you to Toy Arc and Toy News International. Oh, I want to bring up one more thing. This should have been in follow-up. Amazon Auto Buy. Amazon now has an auto buy feature where you can put in a price point. Like, let's say there's a $65 Thundercats figure that you'd like to have, but not for $65. You can enter in $45 as your price point and set either an alert to let you know if it hits that price point, or set it up to automatically buy the item for you when it hits that price point or below. It's pretty wild. It's pretty potentially very dangerous, but also that's really the main reason I maintain Amazon wish lists, is just to keep track of what I want in pricing. So this takes that a step further and is a very useful feature. I haven't had it work yet because the things that I'm waiting for have not budged in price in like 2 years. But it's an interesting tool and a nice foil to the algorithm stuff they do that automatically adjusts prices upwards based on what the market is.
And we've seen them do things where they will just kind of randomly mark down a whole bunch of G.I. Joe classified figures down to like $13 until that current shipment sells out, and it gets spread. It's spread around, and before I look, they're gone. They're sold out at that price.
Right.
So like, if there's a figure that I'm like, I could use like another Viper or something like that, just some random troop builder, I might just be like, well, if it hits $15, go ahead and auto buy it.
That's the one thing I have, because I set a lot of stuff to get the notification. The only thing I set for auto buy is I need an eel, a retro card back eel. If they get below 20, I'll grab one, because of what happened. I never bought a retro card back eel, and then the eel that I've got, the third party peg broke off in his back. So I do need another eel, but only if I can get it for relatively cheap. All right, now we're going to get into a little bit of comic book news before we get into the toy news. And I actually have something to play here. So everybody check this out. Oh, wait, let me take the news banner down so it doesn't play over this. I'm not sure how that's arranged. All right, here we go. Check this out. It just occurred to me, I'm going to need to cut that out of the audio version, because there's no talking or anything. It's just music for a minute. It's going to be very confusing. What we just saw was a trailer for the Energon universe, or for the upcoming events of the Energon universe, and it was awesome. We were talking about it before we went live, that it's inspiring that Image is treating this like an event. They are making the Energon universe a big deal. It's very exciting to watch that. And Kristian, I think you had a few things to report.
Yeah. So, if you are a member of the Audible Interlude Facebook group, you would have seen I already posted artwork of a new character reveal that they gave us at the Comic-Con panel. But also on top of that, on the Void Rivals front, Pythona's trip back to Earth is going to take much longer than we expected. And if you have seen the newest issue, you'll know that Rom makes his appearance. Was a little sad to find out Rom is not getting his own series. They're treating him like they did the startup of everything else with the Energon universe, where he's going to be scattered throughout different books, kind of to build up excitement. And they're not saying when or if, but just that, keep an eye out. And when it's important for him to show up in the different books, he will show up. If you've been keeping up with Mask, they say that issue 3 of Mask coming up is the most disturbing thing that has appeared in the Energon universe yet. And when I think of G.I. Joe #1 and what that last page was, I'm like, oh, I cannot wait. They also shared artwork for Scott Tracker and T-Bob, who are going to be joining the cast as well. And on the G.I. Joe front, get ready for Night Force versus our main Joe cast. And does Zartan get revealed or not? And what does Baroness do with that information that we saw at the end of the last issue?
Yeah, if you haven't been following along, we've been reviewing all the G.I. Joe Energon Universe titles, and the review of issue 24 is available now wherever you get your podcasts. And that last page was another shocker.
Yeah, like when I think of that, when I think of all of the needle drops that the Energon universe has had, for them to say that Mask issue #3 is the most disturbing thing they've done yet, I'm like, what could you possibly be doing? But then again, it's Robert Kirkman, Walking Dead.
Right.
So yeah, be ready.
So with that, and just to reiterate, if you're not reading the Energon Universe comics, you absolutely should be. It's really entertaining, great stuff, and it's in a time where people talk about there not being G.I. Joe media. There is G.I. Joe media, and it's great. It's some of the best G.I. Joe media we've had in 30 plus years. Oh, Kristian, I thought you were looking at Yorktown's comment there.
I am. I'm answering him. I didn't know if
okay. Yeah, you can throw it up there. Why
not? Yorktown Joe wants to know, on a completely sure. Side note, does anyone have the Marvel Legends ROM figure? Thumbs up or not? I think it was a last year figure. And as I was starting to type, it is a definite thumbs up. It is one of the best Marvel Legends figures that they have put out in a very long time. He is 100% looks like he did from the comics, and there's nothing they had to do to make that figure compromises his comic book look.
I'm redoing my Marvel Legends, and I'm not sure where he is right now, or I'd grab him, but it's an excellent figure. And it's very the aesthetics of it are very nice. It's very sturdy, and the silver just looks fantastic. I mean, that painted silver always looks better.
And something else. So when Mask #1 came out, they were blind bagged, and they threw in surprise comics with them. Some of them got an advanced copy of Mask Number 2. Some of got the Marvel team up, Invincible Spider-Man. Some of them got a ROM special, and they are re-releasing that to the newsstands. So everybody who get that in their blind bag will be able to finally add that. So between that and the newest issue of Void Rivals, I highly, highly, highly recommend.
All right. Well, now we can talk toys. And the first thing went up the day before Comic-Con officially started. And that is the render of the Triple T with an extremely generic Sergeant Slaughter. So we mentioned this last week, but since it was an audio episode and we don't typically do news on audio episodes, we pushed this off until... Oh, that's right. Yeah, this was the week before Comic-Con started. They put this render out. It's been out for a while. So I think the Triple T, I appreciate that they added the canopy, and I have no problem with it because it is removable, like completely removable. I think it looks great. It looks like a classified Triple T should look. It has some cool additions. The back portion folds down, similar to, I think the cup worked the same way, where that back part folded down and was like a little platform. But I mean, I think it looks great. The vehicle itself is exactly what I would think the Triple T should be. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pass for me just because I don't need this in my collection. But if I were designing a classified Triple T, this would probably be what it looked like. And I think that the canopy is a good addition. I think it blends in seamlessly, and the fact that it's removable, if you don't want to use it, gives people that option.
I do wonder if the treads are separate.
I've got a lot of speculation on whether or not the treads are actual real treads or if it's just a molded plastic piece. I bet
it's a molded plastic piece.
I'm going to bet that they're functional treads because I think at this scale, it's going to look so corny if it's like the original. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Slaughter figure. Oh, go ahead, Kristian.
Well, so that's actually my biggest gripe with it, especially with something that they said at San Diego concerning the other vehicle reveal that we got about, for people that want to buy multiples, Thrasher isn't a troop builder. Well, for at least some of us, Sergeant Slaughter isn't a troop builder either. I didn't need 2 Slaughters in my collection. This is now the third. If he was going to come with the vehicle, I wish it was the version that all of you Slaughter fans had been asking for.
So I have marketing thoughts about that.
Well, I mean, they've worked around that with all these others
at all
by making them be, Steel Brigade or Steel Corps or whatever. So, like, if that's not an excuse because you could easily make whomever your driver is in whatever faction a possible troop builder if you wanted to.
And if I don't own the original, did it have a decal that said Sergeant Slaughter on it? Because, like, I like it. If he did not come with it, I would want it, but I would want to repaint it or take some acetone to it to make it not say Sergeant Slaughter.
I don't believe the original said Slaughter, and I don't think the cup version does either, but I'm not positive. Somebody in the chat knows off the top of their head.
Yeah, and Nowhere Man Child has pointed out this is actually the 4th Slaughter already in.
Oh, I thought you were just saying it would be the 3rd Slaughter for you if you got it. I didn't think you were saying this was the 4th Slaughter.
No, I was thinking it was only the 3rd because the only ones immediately off the top of my head were the first one, the 2-pack with Mercer, and now this.
And the Mad Marauder Slaughter.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
leg warmers.
So here's what I think is going on. They're saving the mail away Slaughter look for some kind of premium down the road. It would not. I don't think, as much as I don't care for what they've done here, I don't feel like it would have made sense. I wouldn't have put that figure with this vehicle. I just wouldn't have. It would be weird. I would save that for something special. And to Hasbro, Slaughter is a whole separate thing that they see value in and that they pay money for. So to release Sergeant Slaughter's vehicle without Sergeant Slaughter would just be dumb.
I get it. I'm just saying, for me, from a price point, I look at it and I go, without that Slaughter figure, you're knocking $30 off of that for people that don't need multiple Sergeant Slaughters. So I'm not getting it unless I end up finding one on the second market without him.
Right. Well, and I think the other, because you have kind of a different perspective on it. To me, this is Sergeant Slaughter's vehicle. There's nobody else that would be driving it. So it wouldn't, there's no rationale of just release this without Sergeant Slaughter. That just doesn't make sense in any way. But I do feel like, honestly, to Noel's point, do a radically different Slaughter and include that Steel Brigade helmet. And now Steel Corps. Steel Corps just has a big bruiser guy.
Yeah, the big enforcer of the Steel Corps, yeah.
Yeah. That would have made sense, and they could have made a Slaughter that looks a lot more interesting than what we're looking at here. It's really the plain black shirt that's bugging me, and I get that they're going for the visual look of the figure that came with the original Triple T, but I think they could have done something a lot more fun. I do like his helmet, though. I like the helmet that he comes with. I think that's a nice touch. Well, that's enough about, and we don't know what the pricing is on this yet, and I don't think they announced when it was going to go up for pre-order or anything.
No, they did. I'll pull it up. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. You're right. August 12th, Pulse exclusive. But I don't think we know. Typically we don't know the price until, around
it's going to be $109.99.
So
okay.
That's been the price for this size vehicle lately. So
we also had some other things to order. The Night Force Psych Out went up on Walmart. This was a pass for me. And I think we discussed it. We've been discussing the same things over and over again for like 6 weeks now. So it's hard for me to remember who said what about what. I don't care for this as Psych Out. And if I'm going to get a Psych Out, I don't need Night Force Psych Out as much as I do like my Night Force collection. So this was excited for anybody that wants it, but wasn't for me. And I think you guys were in the same boat.
And based off of Lenny's Instagram post, I think when we get regular Psych Out, this is him in his, but it's going to be in his regular colors. We're not getting satellite dishes.
Yeah, it's they're just a few too many things about this design that don't resonate with me. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that for me, this isn't. I don't look at this and think Psych Out. And then also, nice surprise, the Range Viper was available again, and in window box packaging this time,
and sold out.
Curious. Like that. Oh, did it?
Oh, okay. Yeah. As soon as I saw the post and I went there, it was already gone.
I'm curious to know if the figure, because if you recall, this figure had extremely tight joints and was a more rigid plastic than other classified releases. So I'm hopeful that the newer version will feel a little bit better, feel a little easier to play around with. Because that first one was just a a stiff figure. But great design, and I hope to see other color variations of it, maybe in the retro card back line or somewhere like that. Also up for pre-order, Lara Croft, who broke Big Bad for about 17 minutes. Appeared to sell out instantly on Amazon, but then later came back in stock. But on Big Bad, it was like 17 minutes before I was able to get an order in on that one, because I did. Yes, this is in the higher end of price ranges I can accept for a single figure.
Yeah, like I put the pre-order in just because it was Big Bad, and I know that I can, and I pile of loot so I can decide if I don't want it later. But yeah, it's a lot of money for a figure that does not even have like a deluxe loadout.
I would say it brushes up against deluxe, against Hasbro's definition of deluxe, but it certainly is a stretch to say this is worthy of. I saw $42.99 and I saw $44.99. I think Big Bad was $44.99.
Yeah, it's $44.99.
But it is the look of a character that I have wanted for 30 years. So that adds to my willingness to pay the price for it. Because there's never really been a really good Lara Croft figure. And that first Tomb Raider, the first 3 Tomb Raider games took up a lot of my time, because it was Indiana Jones games, basically. Kristian, did you cave to the demands of Lara?
No. Super excited for everybody that wanted her. I just don't have that kind of attachment to her.
Yeah.
I'll be reacting like this when Action Man. Wait, he didn't break the internet. Never mind.
Action Man did not sell out anywhere. Although I hope it does well, because I want to see more things like that. But again, that price point. Woo.
Here's a blast from the past for you. White Mike Vegeta with Tomb Raider is a deluxe in the same way Kamakura was a deluxe.
Kamakura at least had a second head, though, didn't he?
Well, right, but I believe Lara Croft has, even though she does have some recycled accessories, I believe there's a lot more new tooling in her accessories than in any other deluxe figure. Because she's got the quiver, she's got the bow and arrow, those pistols, I believe, are unique to her. I think she's got a lot more tooling.
Well, I just had to point it out because White Mike Vegeta, this is the first time I've seen someone mention Kamakura. I think since like the first couple of months after he came out. He's kind of a forgotten classified figure at this point. So
he did not set the world on fire. So we had two different sources of information from the JUL team. I watched MCU Collector 24's stream, which the audio, there's nothing you can do about the audio when you're sitting there recording something live. The audio wasn't super. Like I had to crank it all the way up, and then an ad came on and my ears started bleeding. But it was very helpful. But then fortunately the JUL team, and there were two new people on the actual San Diego Comic-Con panel. BMAC was there with Sergeant Slaughter, and then Eric and Mark are two guys who we have not seen before, but apparently have been giving input to Classified for quite some time. And Eric Stevenhaller, I believe is what they said his name was, but I could have gotten that wrong. But anyway, Mark and Eric, two people who were kind of seeing for the first time, who've been doing Classified for a while, were part of the panel. But then fortunately, Pulse put up a recap that you could hear and see everything that was going on. They mentioned that this Lara Croft is in ecofoil packaging, so it will be shiny. So there's your there's your 18 extra dollars or whatever.
Yeah.
They also referred to the Fatal Fluffy and the No Place Like Springfield set not as San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, but as summer convention exclusives, which I think they've been doing for a couple of years now. But just interesting that they're making that distinction. And I wonder if that's like a Hasbro directive of, no, we don't necessarily want our products tied to San Diego Comic-Con. Like if that's some new thing, like a corporate.
That's interesting because, like for example, Four Horsemen do that, right? Where they say this is our summer convention exclusive figure.
Independent toy companies have been doing that for a while.
That is the figure that they are taking to all the conventions.
Right.
These figures, I don't remember the previous ones being offered at the other cons. It was like San Diego Comic-Con, and then they went on sale on Pulse, and that was it. But
yeah, and I think now that I think about it, they've been doing this for a couple of years because the New York Comic-Con they've referred to as the fall exclusive. So they have been using these seasonal terms rather than naming the convention specifically. So I don't know what's behind that, but I'm sure it's some kind of corporate distinction that needed to be made. Showed off some figure shots of the retro cardback figures that are coming up. And unfortunately, I have to say this Falcon that I had such high hopes for is a pass. Because look at the missing camo on the sides. It is literally like front back tempo, no camo on his sides or on the inside of his legs.
Yeah, and I don't like the fact that his web gear is like the same shade of brown as his BDUs, so it just kind of all blends together. He just doesn't look finished to me.
So Noel, your voice popped into my head when I saw this because all I heard was, I don't want Sunbow in my classified. And this looks like we're trying to make an animated figure and pass it off in classified.
Well, I mean, it is, because if this were supposed to be a figure Falcon, it would be green with brown camo. But this is brown with green camo, which is the Sunbow style. So yeah, gonna wait around for the fourth pass at Falcon, I guess. It's crazy that there are 3 Falcon figures.
And yeah, he can just sit on the very back of the shelf until a better version comes along.
Also got a closer look at the retro cardback Valkyrie, which I really like. I'm going to order one and hope that the blue is more like the other Cobra stuff on my shelf than the retro cardback Trooper, but it sure does look like that brighter blue.
Yeah, I presume it probably matches the retro Troopers too.
Scale Model Joe says, if Noel can avoid looking at the back of his figures, maybe Dave needs to avoid looking at them from the side.
But it's not even just the side. It's like even from the front, you can see like where the camo pattern ends. It's not okay. It looks like a Jakks Pacific WWF figure from like 2001, where you would get like a Matt Hardy and the print on his pants would just be on the front of the figure because Jakks was so cheap. But I like the design. I like the sculpt of this Valkyrie quite a bit. Guys, anything?
No, I'm passing on her, but I do like the look of her much better than the other ones. Like the web gear looks like it fits better. But yeah, I just don't need more Valkyries, unfortunately.
Yeah, I I'm passing. I've got plenty of troops up there now, so.
And then finally Flash, which I don't think any of us are passing on.
Yeah, must have.
I feel like they got the colors just right. That bright red looks great with the silver trim. Although I'm looking.
Although the thing about him looking this good is it makes me sad because I feel like they're going to have to re-release all of the 013s again that have not yet been released as a retro. And
should they have carried that silver trim that's around the chest pad onto the thighs and the biceps? Because the sculpt is there for trim.
I see that now. I never thought of it.
No, I didn't. I didn't either. I'm just looking at it right now and kind of noticing that.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it should be there, but I'm wondering if they could have done that and it would pop a little bit more.
And this is I'm mirroring the figure because it does have the silver on the chest plate, but not on the legs or the arms.
Right.
And I'm wondering if maybe they sculpted it this way and just reassessed just because of the cost of the extra paint applications.
That's possible too. But still looks great. We know the laser rifle in the backpack. We already have that accessory, so we know that's a solid piece. Very, very excited about this one. All right. What else do we got here? Oh, and these will be available. Is it? That can't be right. I've got August 28th on here. Is it August 28th or July 28th? Kristian, do you have that pulled up still?
I'm pulling it up.
These
I feel like
go live tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I feel like I fat fingered that. Okay.
Yeah, because this is the one that I want to make sure.
I was concerned about your meeting
out tomorrow.
This will be available Pulse and everywhere else. This won't be a problem. And another release that won't be a problem. I'm sure anybody who wants the Mad Marauders Mutton Junkyard and Footloose will be able to get them.
When they were talking about this, I felt like they were just like, we had to do this. This was an obligation. We did not really want to release these figures.
And look, they do. They need. If Hasbro has a reputation for anything over the last 20 years, it's not completing teams. So even though I'm not really interested, I don't even know if I want the Mad Marauders anymore because I've got the rest of them, but I'm just like, man, they take up space and they sure are ugly. And the fact that they started with barbecue, of all people. But I got to give them credit for doing this, for saying like, yeah, we're going to complete this team. I feel like the blue in this picture is significantly brighter than what we've seen in the other ones.
Yeah, and this doesn't look like the same blue that I was seeing earlier because I even made a comment that like if you're gonna commit to these ugly colors, commit to these ugly colors because I thought they looked too muted.
But yes, this will also be available tomorrow at 1 p.m. And then this, we had a little discussion about this already. But now that we've actually seen what it looks like, because all we had the last time we talked about the Crimson Snake, or excuse me, the Mars Industries snake. Last time we talked about it, all we had was that comic image of the old Action Force Red Snake. This thing is awesome.
Yeah.
And well, no, we have talked about this since, because I said on the show that I might sell the first snake and get one of these because I like this that much more. Once again, we've been talking about the same stuff for like 6 weeks, so I can't remember what's offline and what we've said and what we haven't. But I think this thing looks awesome. And if I could sell the original snake, because they're not available anymore, I don't think. They sold out, right?
I think so.
So if I can sell that original snake for the cost of this snake and just do a swap, or somebody order this and we'll swap them, I would do that because this is more toyetic. It looks awesome. And it's so different from the original snake that I don't have an attachment to what color this should be. Like, I don't feel like this should be gray. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the red and black is always just such a good combo, but the way that they did it to break everything up, like, it just looks. I mean, and I'm a fan of the original, but it just looks like it has personality, whereas the other one looks like a giant robot. It's cool, but it does look like a big chunk of white and gray.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a better looking toy. So where are you guys with this one? Interest, not interest, swap for the old one? Oh, you did. Noel, did you get the original? Or the last one?
I had zero interest in the original one.
Oh, because you wanted the body armor style.
Yeah, I if they were going to do the snake, I just wanted it to be like the original. But yeah, like, this looks cool, but this is not something that's
too far afield.
Well, this doesn't need to be in my G.I. Joe collection, you know?
Yeah. Look, and the further we get into classified, the more of that there's going to be. And it's, sometimes it just means you get to take a breath.
Yeah.
Spend that money somewhere else.
Literally an answer to one of my sound offs later.
Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about because I almost had a similar answer to that, but then I came up with a different direction I wanted to go. Okay, and then this one, I think I do have the correct date on this. The Snowtrooper 3-pack, I think, is August 26th. I think this is a cool set. I'm not going to get it because there's just too much. The price on it is probably going to be excessive for whether I would want it or not. But I do like each of the figures, and if we were in a different economy, I would probably get this set. I think it's really, really cool, and I like the fact that it's a Joe and a couple of Cobras. So putting aside whether or not you need the set, what do you guys think of this?
It hurts to say because I want more snow themed and Arctic themed figures for the Snowcat, but I still don't like any of this.
Interesting. What is it that puts you off about it? Because to me, when I envision these characters, but in O-ring style, if they had come out when I was a kid, I would have been stoked.
Of the three, the only figure I actually like, and it's after getting the regular edition, is the Night Viper. I don't think they're calling him Night Viper here.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's called something else, and I can't remember what.
But yeah.
And by the way, some of the information I've got is a little more scattershot because I never got the email from Hasbro. Usually by now they've sent out an email that details like all of the releases and everything, and I haven't received it.
The pre-order is on August 26th at 1 p.m. and the price is going to be $84.99. And I mean, I've not, hidden the fact I'm just not a fan of the Steel Brigade mold. I don't know. I just
putting that gas mask head on that steel core body, I think is really exciting. I think that's cool. I would genuinely like to have all three of these figures, and honestly, 85 isn't crazy.
I might feel differently
compared to the way things are priced right now.
Once people have them in hands and I see photos of them, I might think differently. I don't know. I just look at them, and to me, nothing about it screams Arctic other than we colored them white. And coloring
so you want like big puffy clothes and stuff.
Yeah. I want them to look like snow troopers, like and giving the Saw Viper
interesting
the wolf cape and stuff, that's a consolation prize. I don't know. And again, this is just my own
Sure.
thoughts. You could call these holodeck figures. Like, it's just they're white.
Yeah. Also, I mean, big pass for me. It's not something that, I need, and I'm just like, I don't see anything with this and get excited about it at all. Like, I'm just kind of with Kristian. They're just kind of generic looking white figures to me.
Rough, tough crowd.
I'm happy
all
for all the people who can deck out their snowcat with all these details and take cool photographs, but it's not what I do with my G.I. Joe figures. So,
well, and look, I think the pricing is absolutely coloring, unlike these figures, is coloring my opinion of everything now. Because with prices where they are, I have more of a tendency to be critical, to find reasons not to buy things. If this set came out a few years ago and was $65, I'd have no complaints about it. But as is now, it's interesting though, the aesthetics. I look at these, and these scream Arctic figures to me because of the colors. I like the white and the gray because it makes them stand out significantly from anything else that's on the shelf. Like, I like this Arctic look, and it says Arctic to me. But then, Kristian, you want big puffy clothes for your Arctic stuff, and it's just a different view of what Arctic needs to be, and I can appreciate that. I'm just thinking like Repaint City, make them tan, they go in the desert, make them green, they go in the jungle. I'm good to go. We got some name only reveals. The first way, it was interesting that they said, I've said interesting like 50 times now, but it's because I'm observing this change in dynamic here. I'm trying to figure out where we are on classified, because it's very unusual that I'll describe something and then you guys will just have to be prompted to say anything about it. There's a negativity that I'm trying to pinpoint what exactly it is. So we've got some name only reveals, but they specifically identified it as the first wave of 2027 and dropped 5 names, which is unusual. Typically we get 3 name only reveals. So first up, Hardball needs to be done. I am not in any way a fan of baseball, but I appreciate the character's history, and I think the sports themed Joes are kind of a fun aspect of the original line. Noel, you're a big baseball guy. Where are you on the Hardball fence?
I'm gonna have to see what he looks like, because they mention he comes with a baseball bat, and that seems unusual, because the original Hardball, to my knowledge, did not come with a baseball bat. But I mean, like I said, yeah, it's out of the years that I typically collect in. But I did like this figure, even as a kid. So we'll see what it looks like.
Well, I think he's coming with a baseball bat in the same sense that Red Dog came with the football and the little football tee, and that Big Lob actually came with a basketball. Like, I think that's a fun addition. It's a weird sticking point of the original didn't come with a baseball bat.
Well, I'm just
if he's got a baseball bat, I'm not buying him. That's stupid.
Well, my fear is that's already a pretty large weapon that he comes with, and I have a fear they're going to stick a baseball bat in there and call it deluxe.
It's going to be deluxe. That is a legitimate concern. But let's hope not. Kristian, I'm going to let you talk about this next one.
The way, because I obviously I was at work when this live stream was going on, and the way I jumped up from the desk and squeed, Thank goodness I was working by myself that day. But I am so excited. This is one of my favorite looks for Shipwreck. I think it's one of the favorite looks for everybody's take on Shipwreck. And hopefully we get a corrected Polly to come with him.
They said that it is coming with a different parrot that is not Polly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, once you take it out of the package, it's whatever you want it to be.
Exactly.
It's kind of worrisome because parrots live a long time. What happened to Polly? They live like 100 years.
Polly, I've got some bad news. After that one episode, Polly never stopped growing.
Well, then they should just include that Polly.
Oh my gosh! Could you imagine?
That's next year's.
That's the
next year's HasLab is going to be a gigantic Polly with a little saddle. That would actually. Oh man, if the Ninja Turtles crossover line was continuing, what if they did? Remember the giant mosquito and the giant bumblebee? I can't remember the Mighty Mutants or whatever they were called. What if they did Polly like that the Ninja Turtle figures could ride? That would be amazing. Next up, very exciting, answers a lot of questions we've had since this show started, except for the fact that apparently that is pronounced Dinah, which I had no idea of. I always thought it was Dana, although there are others who thought it was Diana. But
the I comes after the A.
Well, I think that was just one of those things that just wasn't noticed.
Oh.
But I've always thought Dana. But regardless, specifically identified as October Guard, and during that live stream, during that recording, they said that the October Guard are going to be Darklonian resistance fighters. So they have a way to bring them in without, having anything to do with their Eastern European connections. And I think that's pretty awesome. And the fact that they put that thought into it too, like that's an exciting story aspect. The fact that Darklon has taken over Darklonia, it's they're fighting against a fascist regime. Like that's pretty awesome that they felt the need to put that together. And I'm guessing, I think it was White Mike who identified Mark as somebody who'd been working on the file cards for a while. Yeah, here we go. White Mike Vegeta. Mark has been with the team doing the file cards. So it's going to be a lot of fun if he's getting to bring lore like this forward. Even if we're not getting media directly related to Classified, I love that they're putting that kind of thought into it. And that's, one of the great things about it since the beginning is they were thinking about things like that.
Nowhere Manchild brought up in the most recent comment here.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I noticed was like, they're spelling October with a C. I don't know if that's, then again, they also spelled iceberg wrong when they did the name only reveal for that a few months ago. So it's just, but this is actually like a graphic design. So it could also be that they use ChatGPT to make it. So that's all I'm saying.
Well,
there's no telling.
I was just thinking that when we eventually get the retro card, October Guard, and it'll be with a K, then much like Kids in the Hall, we'll have October Guard with a K, October Guard with a T.
And they use this specific image. I presume that this is what the figure will be based on if this is what Hasbro shared. So definitely different than our Super 7 Reaction Plus Diana we've gotten thus far. But I'm curious if they will go for like this more traditional comic look for all these characters.
I would much rather them lean toward the comics.
Yeah.
But as I've been, as I think most of us have been saying for a long time now, let Super 7 do Sunbow.
Yep.
Next up, a new Dreadnought is on the way. Lenny designed a character called Flatline, which I'm very excited about. And they mentioned a
defibrillator
hammer or something.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited.
It's
I can't wait
wild.
to see.
Yeah, I really am excited about seeing the first image of this thing. Heat Viper. One that we've talked about before, a very cool Cobra Trooper that will translate very well to classified as long as they get the consistency of those hoses right. Because if they're too stiff or they don't plug in well enough, that figure is going to be a pain in the butt.
Yeah, because
Fair
airtight
point.
is kind of a disaster with that.
So let's hope they engineer this thing really well, because man, just thinking about those colors and that loadout, but in 1/12 scale, very exciting. And I put a note here, and I don't know exactly what prompted it. This is directly from this post panel recap they did. I put in parentheses, BMAC is doing a good job. So good job, BMAC. Whatever you did around the time you were talking about the Heat Viper, good job. Another Ninja Force 2-pack, which, by the way, I picked up the Scarlet and Jabang Ninja Force 2-pack, and I haven't opened them yet, but they look great in person. I'm really happy, because I was right before they came out, I was kind of starting to get a little on the fence on them. Like, I really wasn't too sure. But then once I saw them in person, they look, they're really, really good figures. So I'm excited about them. And in the same way that the prior Ninja Force 2-pack. Slice and Dice. Yeah. I was going to say hack and slash. Slice and Dice ended up being like really exciting, fun figures. So I'm curious to see what they do with Snake Eyes and Jinx.
I'm really curious to see what they do with Jinx, since she did not have a Ninja Force figure in the original line. What kind of awesome 90s day glow pattern are they going to give her?
Oh, I hope so. I hope. I wasn't even thinking about the colors. I was just trying to picture what the design might be.
Well, they shared this picture where she's got the full sleeves and everything. So I don't know if that's necessarily means a hint on the design cues they're going to use, since the other one's sleeveless that's come out.
My guess is going to be that this Ninja Force one will have the sculpt will be the more traditional Jinx body and everything. And then we'll get a retro card back Jinx down the line. That's just this, basically.
Yeah.
That feels like it would be the smart play.
I still kind of like the Retaliation Jinx look, that black and yellow costume.
Yeah.
And this one was also one that, like, before they name dropped this had been speculated on for a while. Like, I have heard a few different like podcasters mention that there was a Snake Eyes Jinx 2-pack that was probably going to be announced soon. So,
okay.
I think this leaked out a little bit early.
And then finally, the announcement that the retro card back line for next year will be G.I. Joe the movie 40th anniversary themed. I think that's really cool. Even though I say I don't want Sunbow in my classified, I really like that they're acknowledging the movie, and chances are this means Super 7 has similar plans, which is where I would get really excited about more movie support. There are things that they could do here, and we'll talk about them later on this show and next week, that would fit into the Sunbow, but also be things that I'd like to see. But I just think it's cool that they're making a big thing out of this. And they also said that there would be items outside of the retro card back offerings as well. So next year is going to be a big year. All right. Are we ready? Are we ready to talk about
the
always controversial? I know, right? So the Thunder Machine is coming as a made-to-order item. And if you haven't seen at least 10 people cry about it not coming with Thrasher, then you're not a real G.I. Joe fan. It was also stated that this is not like the full item, that there is customization to it. that there are going to be options. There are no electronics. It is made to order. They expect to have a prototype of some kind at New York Comic Con. It should come out in summer of 2027. And BMAX specifically promised that the price would be reasonable, which was kind of a shocking thing to hear because I don't think I've ever heard that before from Hasbro.
Well, I guess, but the question is, did they consider the price of the Arctic Hiss reasonable? Like, what is reasonable for a
We don't know. We don't know what their idea of reasonable is.
Yeah.
And that is a really good point. But for him to say it, I have to think that we won't have the sticker shock that we might think we would have. I'll just say that.
Well, because it doesn't look like it has any stickers. We're gonna have to
Oh,
order
boy.
those.
All right, so let's get into it. What do you guys think?
I actually really like it, despite the fact that, you know, it is a departure in many ways from the vehicle that I grew up loving. I've seen many bad takes online in the last few days over this. People who essentially think that they know everything about licensing and you know, being able to use the front end of a Firebird because well, you know, they just used it a few years ago with the with the Transformers crossover. I was like, okay, do you know the details behind that licensing deal? We don't know what's behind it. We also, this is a render. We don't know what the final product's going to look like. So, and they also mentioned that it's modular. Maybe it comes with the swappable front end. We don't know that yet. So like, there's been a lot of, like I said, bad takes on this. I like the way it looks now. I think it's a cool update. I love that cow catcher. I think that cow catcher is something that should have been on the original vehicle to begin with. This looks more Mad Max than the original one did to me. And that's what I always loved about it, was it like a vehicle out of Mad Max. I've also seen a lot of people complaining about the fact that it has police lights on it. I was like, have you ever seen the original vehicle? Like, I've seen at least 5 people make that comment. But said there's things that, yes, I would probably change on it. Like I think that the original Gatling guns on the front looked a lot better. But again, we don't know what the final product's gonna look like. We don't know if these are all customizable items and this is just the one render they went with. I'm excited to wait and see like what the final product looks like.
Yeah, knowing that they said that it is, you know, it's going to come with all these pieces to make it customizable. The couple of things that I don't like about it, I am 99% sure are going to be easily removable and not like the cannons on the top. Neat idea. It feels very is it Valor versus Venom, the ones that had the guns that you could stick into the vehicle to make
yeah.
Like, it just seems, I know they're not oversized. I'm just saying, like, looking at this render, to me, they look very like that, like just sort of out of place.
Well, they stick out a bit because of the color, I feel like.
Maybe that's it.
But I'm looking at those and I'm thinking, if there's anything on this that's removable, it's those. Like
bingo.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why, like, I'm not like, oh, this is the worst thing ever, because I know I'm going to be able to not have them on. And what I'm thinking are maybe bullet holes going down the piece above the tire. Yeah. Like I'm it's not that I hate it. I'm just like, I don't know what that is at this moment. And
well, it
so
looks too
my eyes
even
just
to
get
be
drawn
bullet
right
holes.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's bullet holes. I think it's supposed to just be like some sort of ventilation or whatever. But it's also, I'm looking at those pieces and I'm like, I'm sure those are probably removable.
Swap
too,
out.
because the original did not have anything over the wheels and the front wheels.
Yeah, and for all the people talking about how that's all covered in now, I'm really positive that all those pieces are going to come off and you can have the exposed. If not, take a screwdriver to it. I'm sure you can pry them off. But I do overall, I like it. And if it,
I
was so happy when they
absolutely-
said no electronics,
yeah.
like, because we don't need them. It just yeah.
I love it. It is the epitome of classified update to me. I like that it looks different from the other one. I like that they've made it a little more, and it's corny to use this word, it's a little more extreme because I've already got a Thunder Machine. Like, I appreciate that this one is doing some different things and is like, I want this on my shelf with all the colors and all the crazy designs. And like Noel, like you said, that cow catcher on the front is such a nice touch. Now, you guys know what I hate about it. I probably don't even need to mention it. Those damn dirty tires.
I didn't even notice.
Ah. Ah.
Well, and that was the other thing too, is that people are like, it looks too clean. I was like, well, the toys, you can dirty up a toy.
Yeah,
You can't
take it
make a
outside.
dirty looking toy look cleaner. So you know what? If you want to look dirtier, take it out in the backyard,
and that-
scuff it up a little bit.
That's part of what my problem is how is the cow catcher and the tires, how do those have dirt all over them, but the rest of it doesn't? And I'm not saying I want dirt on the rest of it. I don't want dirt on any of it, but it is odd. Like, how do you wash a car without washing the tires?
I mean, these are dreadnoughts we're talking about, so
Right, that seems like way too much effort. But other than that, I think it's beautiful. I cannot wait to see all of the details about it. What if, and I don't see enough here that suggests this kind of customization, but what if the made to order is you get the Thunder Machine base body and then you can pick armaments and parts like a build a lightsaber or something?
yeah.
That would be cool. Because then I'm
I
not
don't
stuck
see
with
them
pieces
doing
I don't
it.
want.
I don't see them doing it, but at the same time, as I mentioned a few weeks ago, that may have been part of one of those not marketing studies or whatever they did.
The survey thing.
Survey
did.
thing, yes. So very excited about the Thunder Machine. Don't care one bit that it doesn't come with Thrasher because we're going to get a Thrasher. Matter of fact, BMAX said Thrasher
It's 2027.
something to the effect of he'll be available separately next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they mentioned specifically he'd be available next year, so that's good.
So yeah, that's fine. I have no problem with that. Knock,
Yeah.
Whatever off the price of this thing.
I did see some speculation, and people had like overlain drawings and stuff that it was a retool of the Ostriker, and if that's the case, fine. It doesn't look like the Ostriker. If it's just using the same wheelbase, then who cares?
Right.
That's a cost saving measure that keeps these toys from being even more expensive than they already are.
Yeah, and it is funny that the differently sized wheels for me work on this, but did not like them on the Ostriker. So let's see other points from that video. Adventure Team. So there was a Q&A at the end of the panel. This is not from the Pulse video. This is from the panel, which I think I mentioned it, but MCU Collector 24, which it seems like a shame that somebody who is that high profile and is able to attend this many conventions and live stream them and stuff has such a like late to the game generic username. But
well,
MCU
real
Collector
quickly though,
24
before
is great about streaming this stuff.
before we get to the Q&A, I want to toss out there the Cold Slither moment because they did have their new music video, and of course they announced that they were going to be at the concert. But if you watch the MCU guys footage, man, I feel bad for them. I don't think I told you that when I was watching it, but at least the people in the area where he was sitting, you could hear people clapping and chanting. None of them were in that section where he was sitting. Everybody was like,
oh my gosh.
and I'm like, come on, man. The Cold Slither guys are going above and beyond. Like
so
I don't
far
know, man.
above and
They're
beyond.
so entertaining. And I
Raw
was like, this
Sewage
crowd
made
is giving
that-
them crickets.
Raw Sewage made that Cobra Commander uniform. That's not anything that like Hasbro provided or that anybody did for them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he put up a video, or maybe it was just a picture of him making that uniform. That's how much these guys care about doing this. And it is a little infuriating knowing that like we're sitting at home and other people who don't fully appreciate, not just Cold Slither, but what is going into making Cold Slither happen, or like they're live, sitting on their hands. All of which I say to suggest Cold Slither tour.
Yes.
Soon.
Yes. They need to.
So the Q&A, this was in the full San Diego Comic-Con panel at the end. And I didn't watch all of the Q&A because I hate Q&As. But it was mentioned that Adventure Team and other Joe, they specifically said stuff from like the 70s, would have a home somewhere, that they may not be part of Classified, but that they would, show up. And I mean, I think with Action Man is proof of that. And then the new guys are Mark and Eric, which I already mentioned. So there you go. That was the G.I. Joe presence at San Diego Comic-Con. I think a lot of cool stuff. Not a lot really mind-blowing, but they've had such a brutal news cycle this year that what are you going to do? I think the Thunder Machine, honestly, I think the Thunder Machine by itself is enough to get me pretty stoked about Classified. But there were other things at San Diego Comic-Con we got to talk about before we sign off for the night. And the first of them is Street Fighter. We had speculated Hasbro did get the license for Street Fighter movie figures. I fully expect that movie to be the greatest movie of all time. The trailer is absolutely amazing. I didn't pre-order the figures. They're currently available from Walmart. But once I see the movie, I may have a difference of opinion because I'm so excited about that movie. But I think they look really good. The question is, are these going to be Classified scale, or are they going to be Hasbro's dumb movie scale, which is smaller than Legends and Classified? Surely they will make these line up with Classified, since Street Fighter is and always will be tied to G.I. Joe.
Yeah, because, man, I don't. Y'all know how I feel about ninjas, but they're gonna get, if it scales with G.I. Joe, they're gonna get me to buy a Roman Reigns figure, and it hurts to say that, but man, Akuma, that's my character. So
we will. So here's Ryu, who looks great. Looks like it's got a good portrait, and I love the fact that Ken and Ryu's gis are different. They are actually different sculpts. But that's what happens when you've got a big movie coming out and you've got a little extra funds to throw around. We also got to look at Chun-Li, who looks great. And they all come with fight effects, multiple hands. And then as you can see, Ken has the sunglasses that completely swap out with his hair, which I'll say that's a good solution for sunglasses, I think.
Yeah, I finally opened my Lifeline figure the other day, and it drives me crazy that I cannot get his sunglasses to properly stay in with his helmet on.
It's tricky. It takes a lot.
And I felt like if I'm putting pressure on the sunglasses, I'm going to break them.
Yeah,
try to get them in there. So
they're more durable than you think, but Yeah, it's
but even
ticketing
less
him in.
likely to stay on if you don't put his helmet on.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So Chun-Li also looks great. And then finally, Akuma, as Kristian mentioned, he is a bigger deluxe figure. The other ones are $27.99. He's $39.99 because he comes with all those extra effects and that insane necklace.
They just beefed up the Ulafala even more.
Yeah, right. I just can't deal with red-haired Roman Reigns. It looks so odd. Well, red hair and no tattoos.
Yeah,
which I'm sure he doesn't have in the movie either. But
I think that's why I keep forgetting that it's Roman Reigns, and I'm still
Right.
excited.
I think these look really, really good, and I'm excited to see where the line goes. Although I don't believe we'll be seeing a Cammy in a movie accurate look. I don't think Hasbro's not getting into that territory, if you know what I mean. Then to close it out, Big Bad Workshop had one of the best presences at San Diego Comic-Con out of the toy side of things. We spent a lot of time talking, or a little bit of time talking about them last night, but not as much as we might have, because we knew tonight would be the Joe adjacent Big Bad Workshop night. First up, Long Arm from Cops and Crooks. The bulletproof figure is fantastic. It absolutely delivered what I wanted. Long Arm, while not the most visually exciting of the Cops and Crooks figures, I'm happy to see and that they've retained his overall look. Now, where are you guys? It's been a while since we talked about Cops and Crooks. Where is this in your fandoms?
I mean,
I was not like, this was kind of not my time, and I was like aware of his existence, but it was never a thing that I was into.
when on our farm, when we relied just on the satellite dish, like, we were not getting local programming or any of that. Cops and Crooks was one of the shows where we could pick up the feed, where on Sundays they would drop all 5 episodes to send to the TV stations. Yeah. So like different days of the week, it'd be like, oh, at this time of night, you are getting all 5 episodes of Silverhawks for the week, for Cops and Crooks, for Tiny Toons. So this very much was a show that me and my younger brother watched religiously. And I think the bulletproof figure is, I mean, everything Fresh Monkey Fiction does is so good. So I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I'll get this not because I'm excited about Long Arm, but because I'm excited that Big Bad Workshop is doing these.
Yeah.
As opposed to this guy who I'm getting because this was one of my favorite figures in the original line, Dr. Bad Vibes. I mean, he looks great.
Yeah. That domed head. Perfect.
With his matching domed head robot that probably has a name, but I don't remember.
I want to say Bombburst, maybe? It's Bomb something.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
But they've absolutely captured the aesthetics of the original release. I mean, it looks so good. And I also like, oh, look at this. Soundwave 810 Buzzbot.
Buzz Bomb.
Oh, is it Buzz Bomb?
That's what they're calling it, at least.
Okay. Yeah, these just look absolutely fantastic. And what I was going to say, I appreciate that the portraits, they're keeping the cartoony looks, that Bart Sears art, and they're not making them more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's kind of what I expected when they announced they had the license. And then once you get Bulletproof in hand, you realize that face is the same face.
That face is so 1980s poster hanging in a beauty shop that I just can't get over it.
Also on display were some of the non-player characters that we've known they've been working on for a while. We've seen some renders and digital sculptures at past presentations, but now we're seeing Well, they might have had these up at Joe Fest, I think, but that was such a busy time. I didn't get good shots of anything, so we can talk about them now. We've got a couple of gangster designs here. Well, three gangster designs with multiple portraits, multiple accessory options, and the NPCs are basically just characters to fill out your shelves, supporting cast, if you will. And I love that they're doing this stuff. And I will say, okay, some of the portraits definitely bear resemblance to people we're familiar with. I'm wondering if that one in the front with the Tommy gun, is that just straight up a Joker?
That's what I was
That's what
thinking.
it looked like.
And then back, the one in the bowler hat in the back there, and I don't have a closer shot of it, but it almost looks like Christopher Plummer.
Oh, see, I was thinking Peter Cushing vibes.
I'm sorry, you're right, Peter Cushing. Sorry, I get Plummer and Cushing mixed up frequently. Looks like Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah.
And then over here, we get to stay-at-home mom, who looks a little Jessica Biel to me. And last night, we realized that the new Fresh Monkey figure that they've been showing is not actually a Pee Wee Herman call-out. It is a Buckaroo Banzai. And that SWAT trooper behind Stay-at-Home Mom, that portrait could very well be Peter Weller.
Yeah.
Which would make a lot of sense as a SWAT trooper, but you gotta have to put on that Buckaroo Banzai suit.
Because they are so good at that, you know?
Yes.
It's like, oh, here, buy this, this, and this, and you can make this. It's so smart on their end.
Right. To sell, let's get people buying, we'll put out a simple blue suit, but then the portrait that comes with it is something you have to go with another one of the things. It's very, very smart. And I'm in on so much of it. Oh. Next up, the stars of last night's show. And we have, I didn't have better pictures last night, but we now have a view of the names. The Merc Lords of the Carpathians. So this creature from the Black Lagoon-ish figure in the front is actually a troop builder. And we were speculating about the accessories it might come with, and that suggests to me that we might have some different portraits and some significantly different looks available with this figure if they're wanting you to buy multiples of it.
With a name like the Merc Lords of the Carpathians, I am going to need more 1/12 scale musical instruments because they are now a Hanna-Barbera detective team.
I was
fighting monsters and singing songs.
I think that's the name of Cold Slither's second album.
Yes.
And then behind that is the Leviathan, which is just a gorgeous 1/12 scale update of the Kraken. Again, we talked about it last night, but this is a better shot than we had then. The colors are beautiful. The sculpt, everything about it. Both of these are just must-haves.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, Big Bad Workshop shared some images before we went on the air, so we have much better pictures of the Merc Lord here.
Okay, so our thought about the tail being possibly detachable,
yeah, that's not going to be the
look
case.
Like it.
I was wondering last night if they might have engineered the back so that tail could come off and you could pop like butt cheeks or something in it. I don't know, but we were just wondering if maybe that was one of the could be swappable or something, but it looks like not. And the tail does lend it a more Cthulhu type appearance, which is in line with Monster. Oh, that was another thing I speculated that the Kraken update would be Crimson Moon, but it looks like it's part of Operation Monster Force as well.
Oh no, go back to your previous picture.
Was it Crimson Moon?
Yeah, it's got it on the.
Oh yeah, okay.
The fonts are so similar.
So I was right about that. We also got a closer look at the order. I believe this is an updated piece that we have not seen this much detail and color on before. I was in a band after high school that went through a couple of name changes, and one of the names I wanted to use was the Submachine Nuns, and nobody else liked it, so we used it. But I think I'm finally going to have something to put the label of Submachine Nun on, and that's going to be this order figure. But this would appear to be that it's the order. I mean, that could be suggesting that this is another troop builder, so I'm wondering what kind of loadout we might have here. Any thoughts on this one, fellas?
Well, they talked about
jump
her.
in anytime.
Sorry, they talked about her 2 Joe Fests ago. The last one that I was able to attend when I went to their panel.
I think they shared the
artwork,
right?
of her. So it's cool to finally see it in person, and like you said, to see it in color. And from here, it looks like her chest armor, is that a cat? Because there's like eyes.
It looks like,
it does look like a cat, doesn't it?
If that is the case, I am digging it even more. Like, you can never go wrong with a battle nun.
Murder nun.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be interesting if she came with like a soft goods cassock type thing or habit, I guess. Like not that it's going to cover that entirely, but it could work into the design somehow. Yeah, I dig this figure. And again, Big Bad Workshop shared some better images, so we get a look at the back. That cross on the back is a nice touch, and you get a better look at the headpiece. Very, very cool figure. Wild design. Like feels more futuristic than anything we've seen from Monster Force so far. So I'm excited to find out the story behind this character. Also got to look at Little Red, who was shown in that same panel a couple of years ago. But we get to see the colors
not that
here.
Little. She's going to make a lot of G.I. Joe customizers very, very, very happy.
This one, I believe, was shown with a soft goods hood and cape, if you will. So this is just the plastic parts of it. It reminds me a lot, if you remember, Diamond Select put out a Daughter of Van Helsing figure years ago. And this reminds me of that figure in a little bit. That one had a little more going on, but just the details of this one bring that to mind. Another cool character, and I like that they're going outside of like just straight up soldiers and stuff.
Yeah.
And then to her left, Miranda, I believe it's Seek, but I could be wrong. I was trying to look at the card behind her from another angle in another picture, and it was blurry. But really cool looking character. Reminds me a little bit of Rosario Dawson from Sin City.
Mm-hmm.
That portrait anyway. They're making good use of those Rocketeer pants. But another cool looking character. We're not covering the Rocketeer stuff tonight. I know a lot of people dearly love Rocketeer. It's just not interesting to me. So I didn't put it in here. Sorry, Rocketeer fans. Nobody's perfect. And then we get a closer look at Little Red.
I love that crossbow.
The crossbow is awesome.
Assuming it's a crossbow.
The belts.
Yeah, the belts.
The crossed belts. Mm-hmm. Looks great. Really just a lot of cool design stuff here. Soldiers of Fortune looks like a 2-pack possibly of Agent versus Enemy. And, speaking of head swaps, just pop that bald head on that black suit and you've got a Hitman figure. The bearded portrait, I think, is one that we've gotten a couple of times now, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, he came with the general.
Yeah. But cool 2-pack. Get you some suit bodies. Tarzan and Jane, which I am stretching the bounds of G.I. Joe adjacent, but I just think these look great. And also, Tarzan and G.I. Joe would be kind of an awesome team up.
Yeah, this screams adventure team, kind of.
Yes.
Adventure in the jungle, Savage Land crossover.
Tarzan and Zartan are just the same name with 2 letters swapped. So,
Well, you know what? At the rate we're going, Big Bad Workshop is going to get a saber-toothed tiger out before I'm able to build Zabu. So I'll just wait and get theirs. But yeah, these just look so good. I just had to throw them in here. The Raven Society, which is perhaps even further removed from G.I. Joe than Tarzan is, but I love Harry Houdini, and a Harry Houdini figure is very exciting to me. Edgar Allan Poe, slightly less exciting. Poe's great and all. I don't know that I need a figure of him, but the Houdini, like that, one of my, the Batman Houdini crossover comic that came out, the Prestige trade or paperback that came out back in probably the late 90s, I guess. I loved that book so much. And I've just always been fascinated by the guy. Cool looking figure. Kristian, where are you on the dead white guys bandwagon?
So whichever one comes with that bookshelf is an automatic
It's gotta
buy.
be Poe, right?
But also one of my favorite episodes of Jim is when Jim and the Stingers go to a fundraiser at Harry Houdini's mansion, and there's a whole like potential seance. So and look at that with the cards.
It's great.
I'm gonna be super, super, super tempted by them. And that skull sculpt next to Edgar Allan Poe with the hair, that's kind of cool.
That's wacky. Yeah. Well, and that's potentially like a character, Will it be somehow their, Operation Monster Force talking to the ghost of Edgar Allan Poe for some reason? Like, I don't. Who knows? Who knows what they've come up with? But it'll be interesting, whatever it is.
And I can make lots of videos to MC Lars's Edgar Allan Poe song "Nevermore." Nerdcore rock or nerdcore rap. So,
and then finally, we got another look at Larry Hama and the Fury Force figures. Again, could not be more excited for this. I think they all look fantastic. I'm all in on all of these. Operation Big Bad Workshop is just killing it.
And we are getting one more Agents of the Omega. I could not find any good pictures of it.
Oh, really? I didn't even see that. What was it?
Yeah, so there's one photo of the display, and the first one is there with his snake, and then next to him is a translucent Abraham Lincoln figure, and the card, when I zoomed in, I think it says "Mystery at the Lincoln Museum." But there's no other accessories.
Wow.
No other information. But, I'm a sucker for a translucent figure. And Agents of the
especially
Omega.
an Abraham Lincoln.
That first Agents of the Omega is such a great set. So.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I do have one last thing here I had to throw in because I totally missed it. I did not realize Factory Entertainment was also doing the newer Battlestar Galactica. That I'm going to get in trouble because I don't really care that much about the original, but the new one is one of the best shows ever made. And oh man, I was almost like annoyed to see this because I don't want to have to make decisions about what the pricing is in it. Because didn't you say the old Viper is like $250 or something?
Yeah.
But man, if they can get some dead-on portraits, because I think it was Diamond Select that did really poorly made, like 7-inch figures when the show was on.
Yep.
Like I got a bunch of Cylons on clearance. I think it was actually at Dragon Con. Somebody had a bunch of the figures for under $10 each. It was cheap. And I took one. I wanted to open a Cylon as soon as I could.
Skill Model Joe's said it's weathered, Dave, so you can skip it.
We're going to move on. There's a whole conversation to be had there. We're having enough communication problems tonight, so I'm not getting into that right now. But yeah, I opened it up and the Cylon fell apart like right out of the package. Like they barely even touched it. It was really, really poorly made.
Yeah, those were poorly made.
All right, let's see. So that is it for the news. It is time now for the final segment of the show, the one where we go to the Audible Army and they tell us what to talk about. You know, because Destro's looking at that banana. It's time for Sound Off. So in the Sound Off segment, we pull from Instagram, the Audible Interlude podcast account, and take input as to what we're going to discuss. First up, Wreckship, who seems to not be here tonight. I'm actually worried. Can someone check on Wreckship? Wreckship says, where are you hoping to see the line go by the end of 2027 into 2028 when the new lead designer's influence begins to arise and Lenny's finally is no more? Well, first of all, I want to say that, yes, Lenny has been the face of Classified, but it has always been a team, as we saw with the guys on the panel at San Diego Comic-Con who've been around for a while. We just haven't seen them. Lenny's influence will never be gone. What he and that team did with Classified over the past 6 years will always be the foundation of G.I. Joe Classified. You know, we'll see some tweaks and some differences in direction, I'm sure, but his influence, there will be no point where Lenny's influence is no more. My hope is that the line continues to deliver great G.I. Joe product. But aside from that, I'm not a big fan of like speculating or planning in that way. Put me in charge and I'll lay out a plan of where I'd like to see it go. But as a customer, just sit back and we'll see what they can come up with, because I couldn't predict something like Synapse or Sundown or whatever Flatline is going to look like. I couldn't predict. Well, no, I take that back. I sort of halfway predicted the Thunder Machine, because if you remember when we talked about it a few years ago, I said I think they should make it so that it's modular and that so you can swap out parts and create different looks, because it would make sense for what it is. Mm-hmm. But in general, I just sit back and be surprised and take the good with the bad. So hire me to run the line and I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do with it. But outside of that, I don't have an opinion. What about you guys?
Go ahead, Noel.
Well, so this was the one that I said I have an answer for a sound off based on this, just because I'm just thinking about how much prices are going higher and how much space on my shelves I'm lacking, and I'm thinking like, you know what? Maybe I hope the line just delves into all of the stuff that I don't care about, so I can just like enjoy my Classified, not have to worry about getting new stuff. Because I say I'm all right. I'm going to pull back on buying stuff, and then I want to buy a new wave of stuff that I like. So hopefully there'll be less stuff that I like. That's a very cynical answer, but it's actually kind of true.
that was my initial thought, and I was like, I can't say that.
I mean, but I said it, recently, like 90% of the characters and the representation of those characters that I want from G.I. Joe have kind of already been captured at this point, so there's not as many things that I need, and I'm presuming that it'll continue to be that way, less and less as time goes by.
I like this. Scale Model Joe says Word Burglar deserves an action figure. We've been talking about it for years. You are absolutely correct. But then you turn right around and say something crazy like, I hope that to save plastic, they shrink the line down to 118. That sir would be a complete relaunch. Now, and I don't even know.
Well, I mean, story-wise, you could have Mindbender or somebody invent a shrinking ray. So we're going to be putting out 1/18th scale classifieds until eventually they figure out another material to make figures from that isn't oil-based, and we can affordably make toys again.
Or they could go in the brilliant direction that the Star Wars line did however many years ago and have two different scales of classified that have the same name.
Right.
What a dumb move that was. Kristian, where are you hoping classified goes?
Yeah, so because of price, and I know this won't be a popular answer, I actually hope there are fewer waves per year, but I know that won't ever be the case because you have to keep merchandise out there. I just think because of people cherry picking, it will take people longer to be able to get the figures that they want. So stuff needs to be out there.
Yeah.
But also in that same vein, I really want to see them start reaching out to other eras of Joe. And I'm not talking about, this stuff I want from the 70s and 60s. I'm talking about, let's get into Spy Troops and Valor versus Venom. Like, if they're giving us new characters like Sundown, Synapse, and Sundown is one of my favorite figures of this year, so I'm not poo-pooing it at all. But let's get into Agent Faces and Bomb Strike and some of those characters that we haven't seen since Valor versus Venom and Spy Troops.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I feel that the team deserves to be able to flex its creative muscles and do original new characters for the line, because it's something that it was one of the great things about the early 2000s is we were getting those new characters like that. But yeah, I want to see the legacy, the stuff past Real American Hero and even before. So like, let's not go too crazy with these completely new original characters, because we've got a lot of older characters from the past, 44 years to get through. So let's be sparing with those a bit. Oh man, Scale Model Joe's comes back with another great idea. Or they could be hollow, like discount Easter bunnies. That's what I want, is blow mold G.I. Joe figures. I want like a 2-foot tall stalker with a light bulb in the bottom that I can just, celebrate year round.
I was thinking they need to put, like, if I walked into a Walmart or a Target and they have one of those wax-o-matic machines like they used to have at zoos. So you put your quarter in and you're like, I want Stalker. And then the wax pours in and it has that god-awful burning smell. I do it.
Or like just Play-Doh sets. Just with molds. Just make them at home.
Yep.
All right, we should probably move on. Griddle Gaines says, with next year's retro line being based on the G.I. Joe movie, what are your top choices to be included in the retro line for next year? So this is, every once in a while, we'll get a sound off that will suggest a future segment for the show. We're going to do both here. We're each going to give 3 of our top choices for next year's retro card back line. But next week on our audio episode, we'll lay out what we think is a possibility for the entire year of retro card back releases. So, Noel, why don't you start us off? Who would you like to see?
Well, as we've discussed already on this show a couple times, I don't need Sunbow in my classified. So these aren't necessarily things that I really desire in my collection, but I think they might be kind of neat to do them, and I think a couple of these make sense. I think you do a retro Pythona. You get that figure out to mass market. You get her in more like, Sunbow colors. You do a retro Chuckles on a bigger buck that's got the
Yeah.
lighter, that's more of
Yeah.
like he looks in the movie. And then you do a Zorana as Heather, as another retro card.
I
You
like
don't
it.
you don't have to have the swimsuit version of her,
That can
but
come into
she
two
can hang around
packets.
with your retro Falcon figure.
So I came up with, we already talked about Jinx. I think a retro card back Jinx and her full, movie look is a no-brainer. Serpentor. There is still no like single carded Serpentor release. I think you do a little bit of a recolor, but all the same tooling, put them on a retro card back. I think that's very likely for next year.
Yeah.
And then Roadblock. We still don't really have a version 2 Roadblock. We've got the old Blackout version, but we need a good version 2 Roadblock. And that's all three of the, now I don't need a Serpentor, but all three of those are things that are, yes, directly from G.I. Joe the movie, but that will work as just classified releases that I'd be interested in. Kristian, what'd you come up with?
Okay, so I need the Cobra Paratrooper from the opening moment of the movie, so this way we can finally get just straight up normal Cobra Troopers without all of the extra armor pieces. Give us, use that Joe Green body buck to do that. Since you picked Serpentor, then I'm going to throw my second choice in. And while it's not a figure, you're going to take the Marvel Legends old X-Men, the first movie, Statue of Liberty playset that came out for 6-inch figures. You're going to slap a G.I. Joe retro on the label and give us a Statue of Liberty fight scene. And Destro in his snow coat.
Oh, yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Good call to get Destro back out there. Yeah. Sneezy the Squid, our pal Gary from the Dragon Con American Sci-Fi Classics track, where you can catch us live Labor Day weekend. As we're getting new characters in the line, a good thing, Joe needs to grow. Do you prefer that they be added like Sundown, where we get a figure in their file card first, or they be introduced in other media like the Energon Universe or Larry's Real American Hero comic before we get the toy? Thanks for the awesome show, Cobra. I'll go first on this one because I did have to think about this because my initial response was, I don't care. If a character's cool, then it's cool. But that isn't the truth. I am 1,000% more likely to be interested in a character if they've been introduced in media first. I am. I'll just admit that right now. If I have some kind of context and background, I am more likely to be interested, except for Risk.
That was, yeah. Gonna make the same comment.
What about you guys?
Risk is the first one that popped into my head that made me go, where I am in my life right now, I would rather them just introduce a new character with the file card, because I can, like Sundown, I saw the visual, I came up with in my head what I think he is, and the file card is great, but I've already built my headcanon. Risk, I will never be able to not see the Risk that's in the comics. And if it's fantastic for the people that want him. I just think he's incredibly annoying, and I would never have him on my shelf. So I don't think I want that much detail.
Interesting. And yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Well, my gut on this was the same as yours, Dave. Or like, yeah, I'll get more interested in buying the figure if I've already seen them represented very well in media. And then I started thinking about it, and there's not that many, especially new stuff. Now, I do have like a my Don Moreno and my Helix and my shooter figures because I like those portrayals in the comics first. And chances are, if they were just out as new figures, I might not be as interested in them. So I think historically that's been the way. But like when I look at the new stuff now, like, yeah, I bought some of the new figures without any media representation. So I think I'm more with wanting to see them in media first, but at the same time, if the new characters we're getting in the media are all Risk, then
Yeah, it's not.
Can't help it.
It's not necessary for me to be invested in a character for it to have a media background, but I think it is more likely I will be invested if they have come from somewhere like that. Like Chameleon, the second we have a Chameleon available, I'm in.
Well,
Like,
and the same thing,
I
like
really want to.
I don't have any interest in the Mercer figure that has been released. If they do a Mercer based on the Skybound Mercer, I'm in. You know?
Yeah. And that's because of that media. So the media is definitely an influence, but that influence could be good or it could be bad. And that, no, we've got one more. With Dinah being announced and assuming from the artwork used and the easy crossover from the Lara Croft body, we'll get a comic version rather than the Sunbow version. Do you think this will be the start of more October Guard and Classified and Reaction Plus? I feel like they could just not spotlight the nationality or allegiance if that is problematic at this point. Also, for the last 40 years, I thought it was Diana, and I am really having trouble not reverting to that. So we kind of addressed all that earlier. They specifically said at San Diego Comic-Con that more October Guard are in the planning, and they're not spotlighting the former nationality or allegiance, but they seem to be spotlighting the Darklonian nationality, which I think is brilliant and very exciting. That is all the show we've got for you this week. Oh no, wait, it's not. Because if you remember that Hydro Sled announcement that we've all been waiting for, the announcement is
Drumroll.
Tom Henry. We have no information to share about the Hydro Sled. Thank you so much. Come on, everybody knew it was going to be that. You know how we are. Our music is by Chris Lodge of Neon Warlords. Check out Neon Warlords on bandcamp.com and right here on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast. Kristian, where can we find that toy photography you do so well?
You can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky under the name Legion Cub.
And Noel, why don't you tell us a little bit about The Finest?
The Finest is International G.I. Joe Costuming Club, raising money for our wonderful charity partner, Canines for Warriors. Check us out at your local show or go to thefinestcc.com if you want some more details.
Be sure to check out the Needless Things San Diego Comic-Con wrap-up that's available on the Needless Things YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. Catch us live at Dragon Con Labor Day weekend, and our next live stream here will be August the 10th. Until then, yo, Joe!
Cobra.